Hello everyone, my name is Priya. I am from BSc Chemistry Honors second year. Today we are going to do our third chapter of Inorganic Chemistry. इसके लिए हमने मॉडर्न अप्रोच की डॉक्टर SP जौहर की इनऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री की बुक ली है. Now we start our chapter known aqueous solvents. Most of the chemical reactions are carried out in solutions, and the behavior of substances also depends upon the nature of the solvent. In the earlier days of development of chemistry, the reactions have been carried out only in one solvent, namely water. It has been facilitated by its ready availability, ease of purification, together with its favorable physical and chemical properties such as long liquid range, high dielectric constant, specific heat, heat of volatilization, dipole moment, etc. Water is neutral, odorless, non-toxic and non-poisonous. It can therefore be handled safely. The properties of water make it an excellent and useful solvent for a large variety of substances. In fact, the excellent properties of water have hindered the development of non-aqueous solvents. The solvents other than water which are used for carrying out chemical reactions are called non-aqueous solvents. Attempts have been made to find some other substances which could behave as good solvents like water. Organic chemists have been using many solvents such as benzene, carbon tetrachloride, acetone, ether, etc. For dissolving organic compounds which are insoluble in water, now there are many other solvents available. For example, liquid NH3, H2SO4, liquid HF, liquid sulfur dioxide, etc., which have been frequently used. In the present unit, we shall discuss briefly the important features of non-aqueous solvents such as NH3 and SO2. Physical properties of solvents and their role in chemical reactions. The usefulness of a solvent is determined from its some specific properties that may help to carry out the chemical reactions and separate the products more conventionally. Some of the important physical properties of solvents are discussed below. First, melting point and boiling point or liquid range. The melting and boiling points of a solvent determine the temperature range within which the solvent can exist in the liquid state under atmospheric pressure. Since most of the reactions in a solvent system are carried out in liquid phase, the melting point and boiling point give the temperature range within which the solvent is useful. The melting and boiling points for some common solvents are given in table 1, like water is solvent, its melting point is 0 and boiling point is 100 degrees Celsius. Ammonia melting point is minus 77.7 and boiling point is minus 33.4. HF का melting point minus 89.3 and boiling point is 19.5. SO2 का melting point is minus 75.5 and boiling point is minus 10.2. Acetic acid का melting point 16.6 and boiling point 118.1 degrees Celsius. Like this, all other solvents have their melting and boiling points. It is clear from the above table that water has excellent liquid range at ordinary temperature and pressure. Acetic acid can also act as solvent at ordinary temperatures, while NH3 and SO2 can act as solvents only at low temperatures. Second है heat of fusion and heat of vaporization. The values of heat of fusion and heat of vaporization help to know the nature and strength of forces which hold the molecules of the solvent together in the solid or the liquid range. As we know, the amount of heat absorbed by 1 mole of a substance to change from solid to liquid state is called its molar heat of fusion. Similarly, the heat absorbed by 1 mole of the substance to change from liquid to vapor state is called its molar heat of vaporization. Larger the value of heat of fusion or heat of vaporization, the stronger are the intermolecular binding forces in the solid or the liquid respectively. Therefore, the magnitudes of molar heat of fusion and molar heat of vaporization give us some insight into the nature and strength of the intermolecular forces, and these also determine the solvent properties. A better idea of the intermolecular forces in a solvent is obtained by the ratio of molar heat of vaporization to the boiling point. This ratio is called Torton constant. For normal liquids, if molar heat of vaporizations are expressed in calorie and boiling point in absolute scale, then the Totten constant has the value 21.5. Such liquids exist as independent molecules without any bonds between them. A higher value of Totten constant indicates associated molecules. For example, common solvents like water, ammonia, hydrogen fluoride have Totten constant value greater than 21.5 and are therefore associated liquids. The molecules of these liquids are polar. The association of polar molecules is due to their tendency to orient themselves so that the oppositely charged ends of the molecules come near to each other. The inspection of table 2 show that the values of molar heats of fusion for water and ammonia are almost same. This means that the forces which holds molecules together in water and ammonia are of same magnitude. Third, third property है dielectric constant. This property is a measure of the polar nature of the solvent and helps to estimate the solubility of polar or non-polar substances in the solvent. According to Coulombic law, the force of attraction between two charged ions is given by F is equals to plus Q into minus Q upon epsilon R square, where Q plus and Q minus are the charges of the cation and anion respectively. R is the distance between them. Epsilon is a constant, is called dielectric constant of the solvent. If epsilon is charged if epsilon is large, the force F will be small. As a result, only a small amount of energy will be required to separate the ions and hence it will be easy to dissolve an ionic substance. Thus, in solvents of high dielectric constants, the ionic substances will dissolve radially. With the decrease in dielectric constant, the solubility of ionic compounds will decrease. This is the table of dielectric constants of some common solvents. It is clear that solvents like HF and H2 are good solvents for ionic and polar compounds because of their high dielectric constant values. On the other hand, solvents like NH3 and SO2 with small values of dielectric constant show decreased tendency to dissolve ionic compounds, and especially those containing multi-charged ions, for example carbonates, sulfates and phosphates, are particularly insoluble in liquid ammonia or liquid sulfur dioxide. Fourth, dipole moment. The dipole moment is related to the dielectric constant of the solvent, as an unionizing solvent has large dipole moment and also has a large dielectric constant. It is related to the polarity of the bond in the molecule. Greater the polarity of the bond in the molecule, larger is its dipole moment. Solvents having high dipole moment have greater tendency to dissolve the polar or ionic substances. This is because of the fact that the greater polarity results in strong bond between the solvent and the solute molecules and large solvation energy is released. This large solvation energy is sufficient to overcome the lattice energy in the solute molecules and helps in dissolving the solute. 5. Viscosity. It is a measure of the fluidity of the solvent. Solvents like water, ethyl alcohol and carbon tetrachloride have low viscosities and highly fluid and flow rapidly under ordinary temperatures. On the other hand, anhydrous sulfuric acid and high molecular weight hydrocarbons have high viscosities and flow at much lower rates at ordinary conditions. In solvents of low viscosities, the operations such as precipitation, crystallization, filtration, etc. can be easily carried out without any difficulty. With increasing the viscosity of a liquid, increases the difficulty of such operations. Types of solvents. Non-aqueous solvents have been classified in many ways. The following are the important classifications based upon the chemical properties of the solvents. Protonic and non-protonic solvents, acidic, basic or amphiprotic solvents, ionizing and non-ionizing solvents, coordinating and non-coordinating solvents. Protonic and non-protonic solvents. The solvents from which protons can be derived are called protonoic solvents. Therefore, protonoic solvents contain ionizable hydrogen. Common examples are H2O, HF, H2SO4, HCN. The solvents from which protons cannot be ordinarily derived are called non-protonoic solvents. These are also called aprotic solvents. In other words, these solvents do not contain ionizable hydrogen atom. Common examples are liquid SO2, N2O4, C2H6, CHCl3, CCl4. Acidic, basic or amphoteric solvents. This classification is based upon the acidic or basic behavior of solvents. The solvents which have a strong tendency to donate protons are acidic in nature and are called acidic solvents or protogenic solvents. For example, H2SO4 liquid hydrogen fluoride acetic acid. Solvents which have strong tendency to accept protons and are basic in nature are called basic or protophilic solvents. For example, liquid ammonia, pyridine, hydrazine, ethylidene, diamine. The solvents which neither have a strong tendency to gain nor a strong tendency to lose protons are called amphiprotic or amphoteric solvents. In other words, they neither behave as strong acidic nor basic but can behave as acidic as well as basic depending upon the nature of the reacting species. For example, water, ethyl alcohol, methyl alcohol, etc. Ionizing and non-ionizing solvents. The solvents which are capable of undergoing self-ionization are called ionizing solvents. Some common examples are H2O, NH3, HFSO2, N2O4, CIF3, BRF3, POCl3, etc. These solvents are generally polar or ionizing in nature. On the other hand, the solvents which do not ionize at all are non-ionizing solvents. Some common examples are benzene, C6H6, carbon tetrachloride, hydrocarbons, etc. These are non-polar or non-ionic in nature. Coordinating and non-coordinating solvents. The solvents which are capable of coordinating with the metal ions or anions of the solute are called coordinating solvents. For example, NH3SO2, dimethyl sulfoxide, acetonitrile, dimethyl formide, nitromethane, etc. On the other hand, the solvents which are not capable of coordinating with the metal ions or anions of the solute are called non-coordinating solvents. For example, CCl4, saturated hydrocarbons, etc. These are not of much interest to inorganic chemists. Types of reactions in non-aqueous solvents. The following types of reactions commonly occur in non-aqueous solvents. First, methathetical or precipitation reactions. The reactions in which precipitation occurs on mixing two solutions are called methathetical or precipitation reactions. These types of reactions can be predicted if the values of solubility products of the compound formed in the solvent are known. These values depend upon the nature of the solvent used. For example, in water, silver nitrate and barium chloride react to give a precipitate of silver chloride, leaving barium nitrate in the solution. On the other hand, in liquid ammonia, a precipitate of silver chloride combines with barium nitrate to give precipitate of barium chloride, leaving silver nitrate in solution. Therefore, reversal of a chemical reaction takes place on changing the solvent. Similarly, sodium hydroxide is highly soluble in water, but it can be precipitated in liquid ammonia. Water soluble copper sulfate may be precipitated in anhydrous acetic acid. Second, salt formation. The reactions between appropriate acidic and basic substances to form salts are called salt formation reactions. In such cases, the solvent used must be one in which the appropriate acid and base can exist. For example, sodium urate cannot be prepared by the reaction of urea on sodium hydroxide in water. It is because the strong base available in water will not take a proton from urea molecule. In other words, the sodium salt of urea is unstable in water and uride ion will take a proton from water to form hydroxide ion. However, this salt can be easily formed in liquid ammonia solution by the reaction of urea with strong base sodamide. Third, acid-base reactions. The acid-base reactions in non-aqueous solvents can be explained on the basis of solvent system concept. As already learned, according to solvent system concept, an acid is a substance that by direct dissociation or reaction with the solvent gives the caption characteristics of the solvent. Similarly, a base is a substance that gives the anion characteristic of the solvent. The acid-base behavior of a substance depends upon the acid-base nature of the solvent, the character of the solute, and the solute-solvent interactions. In the case of protonoic solvents, cation is the solvated proton and the Bronsted protonoic concept is same as the solvent system concept. For example, in liquid ammonia solvent, NH4 plus ions act as acids and NH2 minus ions act as bases. The neutralization reaction is this. In non-protonoic solvents such as benzene, carbon tetrachloride, Lewis acid base type of reactions can occur because of non-ionization of solvents. The acid-base behavior of a solute in a solvent depends upon the acidity or basicity of the solvent. For example, acetic acid behaves as strong acid in ammonia, weak acid in water, but a base in sulfuric acid. Fourth है solvolytic reactions or solvolysis, the reactions in which the solvent molecules react with the solute in such a way that the solvent molecules split up into two parts, one or both of which get attached to the solute molecule or ion are called solvolytic reactions. Since these reactions occur through self-ionization of the solvent, the concentration of either the cation or the anion is changed. For example, the solvolytic reactions in water, ammonia and ethanol are given this. Water as solvent gives us autoionization होता है, concentration of H3O plus is increased, concentration of OH negative is increased. Ammonia as solvent, concentration of NH4 plus is increased and concentration of NH2 minus is increased. Alcohol as solvent, concentration of C2H5OH2 plus is increased and concentration of OC2H5 negative is increased. It may be noted that in case of solvents like water, ammonia, alcohol, acetic acid, the terms hydrolysis, ammonolysis, alcoholysis, and acetylysis are used respectively. Fifth is solvation. The reactions in which the molecules of the solvent get attached to a solute species are called solvation reactions. The species formed is called solvate. The solvation reactions in water, ammonia, and alcohol are called hydration, ammoniation, alcoholation, and the resulting solvates are called hydrates, ammoniates, and alcoholates. Solvation of a cation occurs through ion dipole interactions between the positive cation and the negative end of the dipole or through coordinate bond in which the solvent molecule donates a pair of electrons to the cation. On the other hand, solvation of an ion occurs through ion dipole interactions between the negative ion and the positive end of the solvent dipole or through hydrogen bonding in case of solvents such as water, ammonia, or hydrogen fluoride. It may be noted that in certain cases it is difficult to distinguish between solvation and solvolysis because in many solvolytic reactions the first step consists of solvation reactions. However, the term solvation is used for those reactions in which the solvent molecules remain in the resulting product. Let us discuss some more reactions in two common non-aqueous solvents. Liquid ammonia. Liquid ammonia is one of the most extensively studied non-aqueous solvent. It is now used as a highly useful solvent and a reaction medium for many types of organic and inorganic synthesis. In its most of the physical properties resemble those of water as given in table 4. These are the properties of ammonia which resemble like water, like freezing point -77.7, water का 0, boiling point -33.38, which is of water is 100, density 0.68, water की 1 होती है 4 डिग्री सेल्सियस के ऊपर. Comparison of properties of liquid ammonia and water. The comparison of properties of liquid ammonia and water reveals the following points. Liquid range. The melting and boiling points of liquid ammonia are lower than those of water. In liquid ammonia, the liquid range is from -77 to -33 degrees Celsius and therefore it presents some handling problems. Therefore, some precautions have to be taken while using liquid ammonia as a solvent. It is generally handled in cooled vessels and nowadays a wide range of techniques have been advanced for handling it. Hydrogen bonding. Like water, liquid ammonia is an associated solvent through hydrogen bonding because it contains a strongly electronegative element nitrogen. However, ammonia molecules are less strongly associated because nitrogen is less electronegative than oxygen and therefore NHN bond is weaker than OH-O bond. As a result, the freezing point and boiling point of ammonia are less. Since ammonia is less associated than water, it is a better solvent for organic compounds. Dielectric constant. The dielectric constant of ammonia is lower as compared to water, suggesting its lesser tendency to dissolve ionic compounds. Liquid ammonia is therefore a poor solvent of ionic substances. Soluble salts include most common salts, nitrates, thiocyanates, and iodides. Fluorides and many oxysalts are generally insoluble. However, ammonia has lesser viscosity than water, and this might be expected to promote greater ionic mobilities and thereby compensate to some extent for the effect of dielectric constant. Fourth, self-ionization. Both ammonia and water show comparable self-ionization as represented below. These are the ionization of water and ammonia. However, the extent of auto-ionization of liquid ammonia is less than that of water. This is clear from its low specific conductance and lower ionic product. Therefore, ammonia can conduct electricity to a feeble extent. Ammonia as a better solvent than water. The following properties of ammonia make it a better solvent than water. Liquid ammonia is a very poor conductor of electricity. The specific heat of ammonia is more than that of water. Liquid ammonia is less viscous than water. Most salt, when dissolved in liquid ammonia, conduct electricity current better than in water. This is not due to ionizing power of ammonia but due to low viscosity, which greatly increases the mobility of ions. Liquid ammonia has high critical temperature and pressure. It is less associated than water and therefore is a better solvent for organic compounds. Liquid ammonia forms strong reducing metal ammonia solvents with alkali metals. Therefore, it is an excellent solvent for many reduction reactions. Reactions in liquid ammonia. As mentioned earlier, ammonia has water-like properties as a solvent. It is therefore expected that the reactions which take place in aqueous solution can also occur in ammonia solutions. Some of the important chemical reactions occurring in liquid ammonia are given below. Acid-base reactions. The acid-base reactions in liquid ammonia can be easily understood by comparing the reactions in water. 2H2O, H3O plus OH negative. According to solvent system concept of acid and base, the substances producing H3O plus ion in water act as acids, while those producing OH negative ions act as bases. Liquid ammonia ionizes as 2NH3 gives us NH4 plus NH2 minus. Therefore, the substances producing ammonium ions in liquid ammonia behave as acids, while those producing amide ions behave as bases. For example, ammonium salts such as ammonium halides, cyanides, nitrates are soluble in liquid ammonia and behave as acids. Similarly, amides, imides and nitrides behave as bases in liquid NH3. The commonest base in liquid ammonia is potassium amide, KNH2, which ionize. Lithium amide, sodium amide and alkaline earth metals amide have a very low solubility and therefore KNH2 is the commonest base in liquid NH3. Proteolysis. Certain compounds like urea acetamide, sulfamide, which are incapable of donating protons to water, can readily donate protons to NH3 in liquid ammonia. These reactions are called proteolysis reactions, hence these compounds act as acids in liquid ammonia. Sulfamic acid behave as a diabasic in liquid ammonia. Sulfamic acid behaving as diabasic in liquid ammonia. However, it behaves as a monobasic in aqueous solution because NH2 group cannot donate a proton to water. Sulfamic acid behaving as monobasic in aqueous solution. Acid-base neutralization. In aqueous solutions, the process of neutralization of a strong acid and a strong base involves the combination of H3O plus and OH negative to form partially unionized water. For example, the neutralization of hydrochloric acid or sodium hydroxide may be expressed as. In a similar way, the neutralization of an acid and a base in liquid ammonia involves the combination of NH4 plus ion. There are many examples of amphoteric behavior in liquid ammonia. The compounds that dissolve both in acids and bases are called amphoteric substances. For example, in liquid ammonia, zinc amide shows amphoteric behavior analogous to that of zinc hydroxide in aqueous solution. Thus, acids give NH4 plus ions and bases give NH2 minus ions in liquid ammonia. These are termed as amino acids and amino bases. Reactions of amino acids. Amino acid is a substance that furnishes NH4 plus ion in liquid ammonia. Ammonium halides, nitrate or thiocyanate are very soluble in liquid ammonia, giving NH4 plus ions, and their concentrated solutions act as amino acids. We know that acids give hydrogen with metals in aqueous solutions. In a similar way, the amino acids react with alkali and other metals to give hydrogen. A saturated solution of ammonium nitrate In ammonia also dissolves many metal oxides similar to their behavior in aqueous acids. Solutions of ammonium halides in liquid ammonia may be used as acids in the preparation of silane and arsine. Reactions of ammonobases. Ammonobase is a substance which in liquid ammonia solution gives NH2 minus ion. The commonest base is potassium amide, which is much more suitable than lithium and sodium amides. Metal salts react with ammonobases to give amides, imides and nitrides which get precipitated in liquid ammonia. Precipitation reactions. Precipitation reactions involve double decomposition because of the differences in the solubilities of various substances. In water and in liquid ammonia, a large number of precipitation reactions which are not normally possible in water have been reported to occur in liquid ammonia. For example, silver chloride is precipitated in aqueous solution as. Similarly, a white precipitate of BaCl2 is produced when solutions of silver chloride and barium nitrate in liquid ammonia are brought together. Lithium chloride may be precipitated by the reaction of ammonium chloride and lithium nitrite in liquid ammonia. Iodides and bromides get precipitated when solutions of various nitrates and ammonium halides in liquid ammonia are mixed together. Many metal sulfides can be precipitated in liquid ammonia by ammonium sulfide from the nitrate solutions of the metal. Ammonolysis. The solvolysis reactions in liquid ammonia are called ammonolysis and ammonolytic reactions. These are analogous to hydrolysis reactions and involve the attachment of ammonium ion or amide ion to the reactant. For example, hydrolysis of SiCl4 occurs as. Similarly, ammonolysis of SiCl4 may be written as. It may be noted that in ammonolysis, an atom or ion from a substance is replaced by a nitrogen containing ion or radical. These are some ammonolysis reactions. In excess of liquid ammonia, the ammonolysis of TiCl4 occurs in steps. When organic halides which undergo slow ammonolysis are ammonolized at the boiling point of liquid ammonia, mixtures of primary, secondary and tertiary amines are obtained. Though ammonia molecule is basic and has strong tendency to accept protons and therefore it will act as base, however towards very strong bases it acts as a proton donor. Examples of this type of ammonolysis reactions. Complex formation reactions. Many complex formation reactions in liquid ammonia are reported which are similar to reactions occurring in the aqueous systems. For example, zinc nitrate reacts with potassium amide to form insoluble zinc amide which dissolves in excess of amide due to the formation of complex compound of zinc. This reaction is analogous to reaction of zinc nitrate with sodium hydroxide in water. Formation of ammoniates. Just as water forms hydrates, ammonia also forms ammoniates with many inorganic salts. In these compounds, the ammonia molecules are coordinating to the cation. These are some typical ammoniates. Redox reactions. Liquid ammonia acts as an excellent medium for redox reactions. In liquid ammonia, the oxidizing action of strong oxidizing agents is weaker than in water solution. For example, HNO3 in liquid ammonia does not act as an oxidizing agent. Similarly, KMNO4 in liquid ammonia acts as a very weak oxidizing agent. On the other hand, reducing agents show increased reactivity. For example, alkali metals act as very powerful reducing agent in liquid ammonia. For example, sodium metal in liquid ammonia reduces CuI to Cu, KMnO4 to K2MnO4. Solutions in liquid ammonia. The dielectric constant of liquid ammonia is low, therefore it is expected to be a poor solvent for ionic substances. Amongst the inorganic compounds, all ammonium salts, nitrates, thiocyanate and iodides are soluble in liquid ammonia. Oxides, hydroxides, carbonates, phosphates, sulfates and most of the sulfides are insoluble. Most fluorides are insoluble in liquid ammonia and the solubility among halides increases. Most of the iodides are soluble. Calcium and zinc chlorides, which are extremely soluble in water, are quite insoluble in ammonia. Organic compounds such as halogen compounds, alcohols, ketones, esters, simple ethers, phenols, amines, nitro compounds are radially soluble in liquid ammonia. Aromatic hydrocarbons are sparingly soluble. Paraffins and benzene are not soluble. Amongst the elements, metals like Mg, Al, zinc, calcium, La, Ce, Mn are only slightly soluble in liquid ammonia. Alkali metals and alkaline earth metals are highly soluble in liquid ammonia. These form very interesting solutions and are discussed below. Non-metals like sulfur, phosphorus, iodine, silicon are soluble in liquid ammonia. Solutions of alkali metals in liquid ammonia. The most striking property of liquid ammonia is its ability to dissolve alkali metals. The resulting solutions are blue and extremely good electrical conductors. The important characteristics of alkali metal solutions are these are blue in color and the color is independent of the metal dissolved. When the concentration of the metal is increased, the color changes to bronze and shows metallic appearance. These solutions are conducting and show strong reducing properties. These solutions are paramagnetic and the paramagnetic character decreases with increasing concentration. If the reagents are pure and dry, sodium solutions in liquid ammonia are stable and can be preserved for several days. When alkali metals are dissolved in liquid ammonia, they ionize to give metal ions and valence electrons. Both the alkali metal ion and electron become solvated by ammonia molecules. The complete reaction is this. The ammoniated electrons are responsible for blue color of the solution. This is due to the absorption of visible light by ammoniated electrons. The electrical conductance is also due to the ammoniated cations and ammoniated electrons. The conductivity of a metal in liquid ammonia is comparable of that of an aqueous solution of a typical ionic compound. As the concentration of the solution is increased, the ammoniated cations and electrons associate, resulting in a decrease of conductivity. Very dilute solution of alkali metals in liquid ammonia are metastable and when catalyzed they undergo decomposition. As the concentration of metal increases, the blue color changes to bronze and finally the blue color disappears altogether. This is due to the fact that impurities such as iron oxide catalyzed the conversion of the metal into amide. On evaporating the alkali metal ammonia solutions, alkali metal can be recovered. The strongly reducing character of these solutions is due to the presence of readily available electrons. The important application of alkali metal solutions in organic chemistry is the reduction of many functional groups and unsaturated compounds. As already stated, the liquid ammonia is a thoroughly studied non-aqueous solvent. Some of its advantages and disadvantages as a solvent are given below. Advantages of liquid ammonia as a solvent. The dissolution of alkali metals without chemical reaction is one of the greatest advantages of using liquid ammonia as a solvent. The dissolved alkali metals can be recovered from the solution by evaporation. The alkali metal solution are strongly reducing agents, even stronger than hydrogen. Ammonium salts dissolved in liquid ammonia act as amino acids and these find applications in preparative chemistry. They can be used to prepare silane arsine. The tendency for solubilisis is less in liquid ammonia than in water. Disadvantages of liquid ammonia as a solvent. The liquid range for liquid ammonia is from -33.3 degree to 77.7 degree Celsius. Therefore, a low temperature or high pressure is necessary while working with liquid ammonia. Liquid ammonia has an offensive odor, therefore it requires special techniques to use it as a solvent and as a reaction medium. Liquid ammonia is hygroscopic in nature, hence all the reactions are to be carried out in sealed tubes. Liquid sulfur dioxide. Liquid sulfur dioxide is a non-protonic solvent or aprotic solvent because it does not contain any hydrogen atom. It is also one of the important non-aqueous solvents and has been widely used in industry. Under normal conditions of temperature and pressure, sulfur dioxide is a gas but it can be radially liquefied and is easily maintained in the liquid phase. It has a wide liquid range and can be used as a solvent. It can be easily purified by passing the gas through sulfuric acid and through P2O5 to remove traces of water. Its dielectric constant is small and therefore is a good solvent for covalent compounds. The characteristics physical properties of liquid sulfur dioxide are given in table 5. Structure of sulfur dioxide molecule. Electron diffraction studies have shown that sulfur dioxide in gaseous phase has the angular structure. This is the structure of SO2. The valence bond theory predicts that the SO2 molecule is a resonance hybrid of the following two resonating structures. Solubilities of compounds in liquid sulfur dioxide. Amongst the inorganic compounds, iodides and thiocyanates are most soluble. In case of alkali metal halides, the solubilities are in order Mi is greater than Mbr is greater than Mcl is greater than Mf. The unnegative polyatomic anions such as Cl4 negative, NO3 negative, Bf4 negative are generally more soluble in liquid SO2. Salts of multi-negative anions such as SO4 2 negative, SO3 2 negative, S2 negative, O2 negative are particularly insoluble. Many of the ammonium, thallium and mercuric salts are soluble. It is an excellent solvent for covalent compounds. Many covalent substances like halogens, interhalogens, phosphorus halides, oxyhalides of sulfur, phosphorus and halides are soluble in it. Metals are insoluble in liquid SO2. Amongst the organic compounds, aromatic hydrocarbons and alkenes have very high solubility in liquid ammonia in comparison to saturated hydrocarbons. Pyridine, quinine and ethers, halogen derivatives and acid chlorides also dissolve in liquid SO2. Many compounds dissolved in liquid SO2 due to solvate formation. For example, Ki4SO2, KiCai2,4SO2, KSCN.SO2. Many donor molecules also form stable solvates with SO2. For example, C5H5NSO2, C6H5OCH3.SO2, BF3.SO2. O2 ionization of SO2. Pure sulfur dioxide is a poor conductor of electricity, though it is believed to auto-ionize. The thionyl ion is analogous to the hydronium ion, and ammonium ion and sulfite ion corresponds to hydroxyl and amide ions of the aqueous and ammonia systems respectively. Reactions in liquid sulfur dioxide. Some important chemical reactions in liquid sulfur dioxide are discussed below. Acid-base reactions. Liquid SO2 undergoes autoionization as, according to the solvent system concept of acid and bases, the compounds which give thionyl ions in solutions of SO2 would behave as acids, whereas compounds giving sulfite ions in liquid SO2 would act as bases. For example, compounds such as SOCl2, SOBr2 act as acids in liquid SO2. On the other hand, cesium sulfite increases the concentration of sulfite ions and therefore behave as a base. Typical acid-base or neutralization reactions in liquid SO2 may be written as amphoteric behavior is shown by zinc and aluminium ions. For example, AlCl3 reacts with SO3 2 negative ions in liquid SO2 to form insoluble aluminium sulfite. However, if the precipitate is treated with excess of sulfite, the precipitate redissolves. This reaction is analogous to the behavior of AlOH3 thrice in water. If some acid SOCl2 is added to the soluble complex solution, the aluminium sulfite reprecipitates. This reaction is also analogous to the reaction in water. Similarly, salts of zinc show amphoteric behavior in liquid SO2. Solvolytic reactions. Solvolytic reactions in liquid sulfur dioxide are not common as they are in other protonoic solvents such as NH3. Some reactions are given below. Ammonium acetate is solubilized in liquid SO2 like this. This reaction is analogous to the reaction of ammonium acetate in water. Certain covalent halides such as BCl5, PBr5, UCl6, AsCl5, WCl6 undergo solubilisis in liquid SO2 in sealed tubes. Many binary halides such as SbCl3, SbCl5, SiCl4, SnCl4, VCl3, etc. do not undergo solubilisis in liquid sulfur dioxide. The formation of solvates, the addition compounds with the solvent is also known. Typical examples of solvates are NaI4SO2, RBI.4SO2, KBr.4SO2, etc. Precipitation reactions. A large number of precipitation reactions can be carried out in liquid sulfur dioxide due to selective solubilities of compounds. The precipitation of several insoluble compounds in liquid sulfur dioxide can be carried out by treating them with soluble compounds in sulfur dioxide. Some of these reactions are Complex formation reactions. A large number of complex ion formations in liquid sulfur dioxide have been reported. For example, the solubility of iodine in liquid sulfur dioxide is generally increased by the addition of potassium or rubidium iodide. This is due to the formation of the complex Ki3 or RbI3. Similarly, the increase in the solubility of cadmium iodide and mercuric iodide in liquid sulfur dioxide is attributed to the formation of complexes. AlCl3 reacts with SO3 2 negative ions to form a precipitate of Al2SO3 thrice, which redissolves in excess of SO3 2 negative ions, forming the complex ion. 5. Organic reactions. A large number of organic reactions have been carried out in liquid sulfur dioxide because organic compounds are soluble in it and it is a relatively inert solvent. Some common examples are sulfonation of aromatic hydrocarbons by sulfur trioxide or chlorosulfuric acid. Liquid SO2 has also been used as a solvent for Friedel-Crafts type reactions. In these reactions, AlCl3 is used as a catalyst which is highly soluble in liquid SO2. It is also used as a solvent for the addition and substitution of bromine reactions. Sulfur dioxide of crystallization. These reactions are also called solvation reactions like water and ammonia. Salts having sulfur dioxide of crystallization have also been observed. Some examples are NaI.4SO2, Ki.4SO2, Li2SO2, Bai2.4SO2. These are formed with the highly soluble salts and are analogous to hydrates. Redox reactions. Though gaseous sulfur dioxide behaves both as oxidizing and as reducing agent, liquid sulfur dioxide does not show any marked reducing or oxidizing tendency. It is simply acts as a medium for certain redox reactions. For example, iodine is liberated from Ki in the presence of SbCl5 in liquid sulfur dioxide. Some special features of liquid SO2 as a solvent. Liquid sulfur dioxide possesses some special advantages over other solvents as a reaction medium. Some of these are: it has low boiling point and this allows its easy evaporation and therefore removal from the reaction mixture. It has low melting point and therefore it allows reactions to be carried out at low temperature. Liquid SO2 is an inert solvent. It has unusual solvating powers for both covalent and electrovalent compounds. It is a better medium for covalent compounds like hydrocarbons and is used for the purification of some petroleum products. It is used as a diluent for the superacid medium HSO3F SbF5, which helps in reducing its viscosity without affecting its acidity. So the chapter is completed. Thank you.